Okay, Mike Layton here, and I'm doing a little bit of background information on a property that is in Roy that, in case an investor is interested in this property, I'd like to kind of give you a heads up on this. So the property is addressed 4289 South, 2350 West in Roy. And as you can see, the city has it assessed at $194,000. Now, just out of curiosity, I thought, well, let's just take a look and see what the neighboring homes are like. And I went through each one individually, about from 4270 to 4310, I think. And you can see here a list of what the county has assessed each of these properties for 2022. We've got 429, 335, 388, 389, 194, which I think that's the one that I just showed you. 165, 357, 404, 410, 804. And I did not notice this house, but that must be a nice place. It's very big and it's newer. I'm not sure why, but occasionally you get a newer home in a subdivision, and typically the home tends to have the value of the homes that are surrounding it. And keep in mind, this is the county assessed value, which typically is not a full price. I guarantee you every one of these people think it's too much, but typically you'll be able to sell them for more than that. So, well, no guarantees, but it happens. 360 and 416. Anyway, I just did about 20 numbers on either side of this particular house, and you can see that the average on these was $387,000, $387,492.08. And so, I'm guessing that's probably about the mid-range of the homes that are in the area. Again, that's not everything. And this house is in very poor condition, I give you that. But I doubt that the county knows what kind of condition it is, and I doubt that that is reflective of it. I think that it's more likely that it is a fact that the house hasn't sold for quite a while. Now, I've only looked here to see when homes have sold last, and we can only see a couple of them that show dates of sale. It's possible some of these others have sold, but I like to think that it's a good indicator that the neighborhood is fairly stable. And I'll show you that in just a second. Let me pull up. This is Zillow's valuation, which of that particular house, which they don't know either. In fact, it's all computerized, and so they probably did very similar to what I just did with you, looking at whatever publicly available records there are. Anyway, their zestimate is that the house is worth around $359, and that you could probably rent it for $2,400 a month. It wouldn't rent for anything today because it's in pretty poor shape, and I'll show that to you. Well, I'll tell you about it, but I can't really show you. I did take a video, and I will send out a link showing that. But here, if you want to make a note of it, just pause your video, and you can probably read this. Is the URL for the little YouTube video I did, and that, by the way. Let me see if I can just make that a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. There we go. There you go. So if you go there, you can see the exterior of the property, and feel free to drive by. It's in Roy, and you'll notice that one of the things on the particular house is that it had been contaminated and condemned by the health department. The owner has hired a remediation company that's in the process of doing remediation, and you'll notice that a lot of stuff has been cleaned up if you've been watching that house at all. The yard is cleaned up quite a bit. There's still a couple of cars in the driveway. We're working on that as well. But interior has really been taken good care of. I shouldn't say good care of, but it's been the debris that was in there has been removed. And I guess they're still in the process of finishing the remediation. Once that's remediated, the county does not require any kind of disclosure, so it will be clean per their standards. But meth is a pretty serious thing. It has to be taken care of, and that's what they're doing. Okay, so let me see if I can get back now. Seem to have locked up all of a sudden. I'm gonna close this down. Okay, here we go. So back to this is when that house last sold. Clear back in '96. Sold for $86,000. You can see the particulars on this house. It was 5 bedrooms, 3 up, 2 down, 2 bathrooms up, 1 bath down. So the total of 3 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, 2,150 square feet. No garage. It does have a carport, and it's a single car carport. There's a lot of parking there, as you'll be able to tell from the. I'm not sure if the video actually shows that or not, but there's quite a bit of parking available. And brick rambler. Of course, this keep in mind again, this was back in 1996 when this was written. But hardwood floors underneath the carpeting. I don't know if the carpeting's even there, and I'll be honest, it needs new carpet. And if it hasn't been removed, it should be. It probably will be because of the meth. Okay, a couple of more things about this house, which you will observe when you take a look at it. And by the way, I could not get in today. When I went around it, all the doors were locked up because the remediation team has secured the building. Before you were able to walk into it, and I did get some pictures, but it was so full of debris that I could not even walk around in there, and so I'm not posting that video. I'm going to wait until I can get inside and get some better pictures. But you can see the exterior, and the first thing to notice, obviously, is the roof is going to need to be replaced. Needs a new roof. There'll be some repairs there as well. Okay, moving on. This here, these are the 13 houses either side. 13 homes. I went either side about 10 address numbers or 20 address numbers to get what we got. Okay, and this here shows us the homes. Let me review and make sure. I think these are the homes that are active. Okay, these are the homes that are active in the area that are similar size, age, and location. Okay, and this one, in fact, is on the same street, just a couple of houses, a couple of addresses up from this one. 4269 may actually have been on my spreadsheet. 42, no, I just barely missed that one. But you can see they've got that one listed at 359. Now, granted, they started out higher, and most people are finding right now that homes are a little more difficult and a little more challenging to sell on account of interest rates have just gone through the roof. It made it very difficult for any kind of financing. But people are still buying. You'll see that in a minute. These are the homes that are under contract in the area. And the reason I show you these, let me back up to the last one. These are the ones that are active. You see 359, 364, 399, and 429 that are comparable to this house in size, age, and location. Not condition, keep in mind. But this probably gives you a rough idea of after repaired value. Again, these are under contract, 359, 389, and 399. We don't know what they went under contract at, and we won't know until they actually close. And when they close, that is where the rubber meets the road, and we really learn a lot and find out what the house really, was worth. And so these are, and again, these are the list prices, not the sold prices. So what I did is I did a market analysis based on using these homes, and these are comparables, similar bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage, and age. Okay. In fact, coincidentally, most of these are 5 bedrooms, 2 baths. As you remember, that one was 5 bedrooms, 2.5 or 2 3/4 bath. I forget off the top of my head. That one's 4 bedrooms, but all of these only have 2 baths. So this is a little better in some ways, and maybe not as good in others. Clearly, it's not as good in some ways. But you can see here that the different prices that they were listed at, not what they went under contract. So what I did in the next screen you'll see is a market analysis, and I actually dropped this one that sold for over 400,000 because I thought that's not really fair. There's usually a reason why homes sell for much more. Fact is, you look at this and it's probably, that's the smallest house there. Why did it sell for, or why did they have it listed so high? I don't know what it sold for. Actually sold for more than the list price, surprisingly. I can't tell you why. I don't know much about that one. But that's not what we're talking about. I eliminated that one and we only looked at these bottom 5. So next tab, I did the market analysis on those lower 5, and those of you that have worked with me for a while know how this works, but just briefly I'll explain. We take the bedrooms of the subject property and then the bedrooms of the comparable property. You'll see all of those had 5 bedrooms except for that one. Those last 2 only had 4 bedrooms. And so what they said is, look, if it would have had 5 bedrooms, it would have sold for more money. And so they added 10,000, and we could have used any number, but we did it consistently across the board, and because of that, it turns out that it makes very little difference. Whether you could build a room for 10,000 or not, hard to say, but that's what we used. Bathrooms, we've got 3 full baths, and that's not accurate. It's like 2 and a partial. I don't remember what it was, but I'd have to redo that, and I'm not going to for this video. So you've got, and you can see the comparables here, 1 bathroom, and so they said, well, if it would have had more bathrooms, we would have gotten more money for it. Same thing with 3/4 baths and half baths and such. I should have made that adjustment, but I didn't. Apologize for that. Level, the square footage, you see same adjustments were made on those. And the basement being finished. Now that house was only 15% finished at the time, and you'll see most of these others are more finished. And this was clear back, I think it was 96 was when this transaction, when these numbers were populated. However, the basement is probably more finished, but as I've mentioned before, it's going to need pretty much a full remodel. So then you see that year built, which they're going to be very similar because it's in the same neighborhood, and that's how we searched for it. And the acreage, carport capacity versus cars. A lot of cars in that age category, built in the 1960s, did not have garages. It just wasn't a popular thing, as popular as they are today. And then after doing that, they take all of those adjustments, come up with an adjusted price all the way through, and you can see that we get 370, 378, 352, 370, and 328, and then take the average of all of those to give us an expected market appraisal of this subject property. Now, again, that would be after repair. But you can see we keep coming up with these same numbers that are pretty dang close. And then this one I thought was kind of interesting. This is an absorption report that's provided by our multiple listing service. And the thing that I thought was kind of fascinating is looking here, and you see that right now our 2-month inventory is at 3.5 months. And they say a balanced market is right around 2 months. You know, once we get up to 5, it's very much a buyer's market. If it's below 5, it's a seller's market, and I would say that it's not really a seller's market right now, but you can see that homes are still selling, and we don't have as much inventory as maybe we would like, actually, but given the circumstances, you know, a home has to kind of shine to be able to sell. So I present that to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to call me. There's my number right here, 801-784-0408. Feel free to call me anytime. Thanks. Have a great day.